Blinken promise in return, right? Does he have anything to offer? Did you see this? I wanted to show this to PPG, but he left, dude. This one, sorry. I wanted to show this to PPG, but like I said, he fucking left. So look, did I show you this yesterday? I'm not sure if I did. I think I did actually show you yesterday. But this is the pier in Gaza. This is the first videos we see from it, dude. I showed you it yesterday, but here we go again, dude. Rangers said that Hamas attacked the pier, but I haven't seen that. Obviously, this is just another PR stunt or ploy to do some bullshit. Can't trust any of these, dude. Canada's McGill University joins global university protest demanding the divest from companies and initiatives tied to occupation state of Israel. Canada.
Palestine is almost free.
Exactly, Casey. It's a PR stunt, but there's something more to it than that, dude. Maybe it's to get that fucking gas reserve or have an excuse to have bases there or to protect. So it's right in the middle of Gaza. Maybe the pier is like to have an excuse to occupy parts of Gaza. Something. They wanted aid and they can use the fucking land corridor. Protests today interrupted the German ambassador at a civil rights conference in Pakistan's Lahore. In response, the ambassador rebuked the protesters for shouting.
Celebrate and also keep alive and drive on
Hey, Salman.
the legacy of Asma Jahangir. If you want to shout, go out. There you can shout, because shouting is not a discussion. That is what it is. If you want to discuss...
I'm shocked by the audacity that you are here to talk about civil rights, while your country is brutally abusing the people speaking for the rights of the Palestinians. You are directly inviting the Palestinians.
Germans. Germans are going nuts, dude. Oh.
From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea.
But the people facilitating the genocide of Gaza should not have a place to have peace, dude. Obviously. They should be confronted wherever. Shame on you for shouting, dude. I'm doing a genocide. You're shouting. These fucking dumbasses, dude. Protesters in Tunis expelled the Italian ambassador and the Italian Minister of Culture from the Tunis Book Fair in protest against Italy's pro-Israel position. Boys, it's definitely popping off, dude. I'm glad people are holding these people responsible, dude. Just for a pro-Israeli position, they should be held responsible. PPG, I have something for you.
You are not welcome here. Shame on you. Shame on you, Italy. We don't welcome the supporters of genocide. Shame on you.
But this is unfolding all over, dude. PPG, this is for you. All right. So this guy, apparently, he was detained by the Israeli authorities, and he was announced dead. He was detained 10 days ago, and he had his first child 2 days ago. And now he's dead. Fuck off, dude. And this is at the Google headquarters in Tokyo. The company's Nimbus project, which is a 1.2 billion contract to provide cloud services for Israel, military and government. The good thing about protest is that the establishment are trying to stop it, PPG. That should tell you everything you need to know how effective it is. If it wasn't effective, they wouldn't be trying to stop it, dude.
Gaza! Free, free Gaza! Free, free Rafah! Free, free Rafah! Free, free Rafah! Free, free Rafah!
Right? The last thing you want is... So the only thing you're like advocating for in your stream is just more of the same. Which is not change, right? That's literally your rhetoric. More of the same. Do what I do, which is change, and that's more of the same. That's what you do. That's what you do. Right? You advocate for like phonies, dude. And this is a protest outside the White House. The White House correspondent dinner, okay? If the people will stand up and hold the government responsible, PPG, that would make... that's what we want, dude. It's like what I keep telling you. The government doesn't have the power, the people have the power. And they have the power by holding the government responsible. This is an example of that. This is an example of that, dude. This is a staging a die-in outside the White House correspondent dinner. Okay? And not really dead, obviously. Yeah, but when the protests are getting crushed, they're getting crushed because they are afraid of them, PPG. They wouldn't crush the protesters if it wasn't effective. So when you have protesters that are crushed, that's still success. That's still success. That's a push for change. You just need to keep going. The reason why it's right. So, right. So if they crush it, they are admitting that it's working and they are afraid of it. Holding the government responsible. Yes. It's a path towards a long route for change. Yeah. All you do is look like narrow-minded, dude. So that's why you can't see fucking trees for the forest, dude. Because all you want to do is just vote for like union. You don't care about anything. And Biden is not that good in union either anyway, dude. And the other guy, the other Republican who comes in after Biden will just undo it. So what you're voting for is not change. You're voting for the status quo. This will just be undone anyway. Nothing will change, dude. But if you keep protesting, the protesters will get crushed because they are effective, right? You keep keeping it up, holding your government responsible. Push the companies that are sending money to Israel, like Google, so they can't make profit. That's gonna make a change, dude. Everything in America is about money, right? So what these people are doing is worth way more than what you have been advocating for the last 6 months, dude. Which is just voting for Genocide Joe, and we know exactly what he's gonna do. In fact, if you vote for Biden, you are greenlighting the genocide. You're saying, yeah, it's okay, President, that you do a genocide. I'm okay with that. Please give me some union stuff. So we got like 40,000 dead Palestinians. Union stuff. Okay, so right. Yes, the evidence is because they are crushing it. So that's the evidence. The establishment are crushing it because they are afraid of it and they know it will work. That is evidence. Right? If it didn't work, they would just let it be and they would ignore it. No, you don't have evidence, dude. The only thing you're coping for is union stuff. That's what your rhetoric is. That's if you vote for Biden, we will get some better union stuff. That's what you're saying, and that's not changed, dude. The reason why it's good is because they know that that's an admittance that it's working, right? Otherwise, they would leave it be, dude. I've already addressed that. And the fact that they're crushing the protesters doesn't stop it. The protesters have been crushed for 3 days now. It's still going on.
You're not welcome here.
Well, the protesters are getting bigger and bigger, in fact. The more brutal the police is, the bigger they will become, it seems.
You're not welcome here.
I'm making a lot more rational sense than you are.
You're not welcome here. You're not
I'm not sure who they're talking to.
You're not welcome here. Why don't you cover the genocide in fucking Gaza? Why don't you kill? Why don't you fucking cover 34,000 people dead? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You are so complicit in this genocide.
No one cares about the union stuff, dude, PPG. The only thing that matters is the fucking genocide in Gaza, dude. That's the only thing that fucking matters, dude. This flag is dropped from inside the building, dude. Hey, non-smoker. We got PPG here coping about voting for Biden. And PPG said he debated you and he destroyed you in the debate. And then I looked into it and turns out he never debated you, dude. How about this once the protesters are crushed? I'll be back here to talk smack, what? What? Yeah, but you can't stop AIPAC. Voting for Biden is not stopping AIPAC. Stopping lobbyism is a revolution. If you want to prevent lobbyism, that's a revolution. Not voting for Biden or unions like what you've been coping for, right? So I already told you, all your rhetoric is about unions. Not stopping AIPAC. How are you gonna stop AIPAC, dude? I have a Nikki emotes too. Did they change? Where's the cap, dude? This one. That's the best one. Yeah, but my take makes rational sense, PPD. Right? I keep telling you, no one cares about our unions. You care about it because you've conceded victory. And then you're trying to portray your choice as change, which is insincere. It's not. It's status quo, dude. Right? And I just feel like it's the worst point in time to be insincere and misrepresenting the situation, dude. You got 40,000 people dead, and you decide to make a stream and say vote for Biden because what? And then you say, oh, my stream is about change. You see why Satin is saying that the Americans are frauds, right? If my take is push for a revolution, then that has never happened to this country. Yeah, but what I was saying is that if you want to change APAC lobbyism, then you have to do it via revolution. That's what I said. And you never push for a revolution. You never did that. Right? Again, you seem insincere. Remember, my take was completely different. Right? I told you my take 100 fucking times, dude. But if you feel like the problem is APAC, and you're gonna solve that by unionizing, then there's something wrong, dude. Well, so you've been coping for unionizing for like 3 months, right? Nothing to do with APAC. How's that gonna solve APAC, though? Yeah, but if it's not APAC, then it's some other organization. What? It doesn't matter if it's APAC or some other thing, right? America is always gonna do fucking America. They're gonna do like a small genocide here and there if it's not APAC. APAC is not the problem. Lobbying is the problem. Because the American politicians are bored to kill other people. And Gaza is just an example, but there's many examples. Right? Biden has been so bad on Gaza, he's ironically going to lose the election to a massive Israeli shield. You know what, Don Smoker? I saw West American media saying that the RFK is doing Biden a favor, and in fact, he's showing better data than Trump. So we never fucking know, dude, what they're gonna do with this election. No, that's not an opinion. You can look at polling data to confirm what Don Smoker is saying. Right? What am I confusing, PPG? Students at Washington University, St. Louis, form a human chain. Look how angry they are, PPG. Look how angry they are, dude. Because these people are showing unity. These people are showing unity, right? And unity is what will destroy the US establishment. That's what will prevent a genocide from happening. Unity. This is not left or right. This is not Trump Biden. This is not like LGBTQ or whatever, or fucking border security. This is unity, right? And that's why they're so afraid of it. Hey, combat. Take the mask off. He's getting fucking detained, dude. And do you know what's funny is that you got all these people that are sacrificing themselves. Sacrifice, right? A real solution requires sacrifice. And these people are being arrested. And when they do a sacrifice, look at that fucking guy, dude. They get filmed, so the sacrifice is recorded. This is brilliant, dude. Where's the Buffy guy? I can't see that is, dude. I can't see how you can put this down, PPG. You just seem like a phony, honestly. Because what can you try to rationalize what your take is again? Unionize, and how is that gonna fix APAC? Go look at the results of all elections. After Roe versus Wade was overturned, the Democrats have vastly outperformed the polls. That's a long time ago, dude. Biden's approval rating has plummeted after Gaza. Hey Shellbell, how are you doing? Shellbell, I saw you streaming on Kick, dude. I tried that. I tried streaming on Kick. I don't feel like there's growth there. PPG, try to rationalize your take again. How are you gonna fix APAC, dude? By voting for Biden? It sounds like the exact opposite. Here we got police brutality. They are assaulting a professor. Someone who's legally has the right to be there, right? And I remember all these PPG viewers. They said that, oh, these protesters, they are there illegally. And the police should just arrest them and kill them. And the Kairos viewers also said that, dude. I'm doing good, Shelbo. Set up a stream on here and kick at the same time. Just trying something new. Okay. Like I said, I tried it. It didn't work for me. I've seen a few other people trying it. It didn't work for them. It's obviously perfectly fine to try. See what happens. And the problem I had with it was there's just no people there. I don't know. So the only thing I just heard from you, PPG, is vote for Biden because union. And I'm just like, okay, who cares about that?
Stanford parades around its shiny advertisement to the incoming freshmen. We intend to prove that an alternative future is possible.
The end goal of our organizing will always be a liberated.
I'm glad that these people ousted fucking AOC, dude. AOC went to this protest and tried to take advantage. Look, I'm one of you. And then they just said, get the fuck out, phony.
Palestine. We will not even rest when and not if the university divests from apartheid. We will only concede any victory when Palestine is free.
But Stanford administration has continued to terrorize us, criminalize our advocacy, and refuse to acknowledge the ongoing genocide.
The tactics that are used by the United States-backed Israeli apartheid structure have been
opportunist.
used on marginalized groups within the U.S. and the rest of.
You know what they're doing here, Satin, is also exposing the problems in America. If your universities are pro-genocide, then something is wrong, right? And that's been exposed.
The Imperial Court.
As students committed to Palestinian liberation have something worth more than money and esteem, we have the power of the people!
She's right, dude. The power of the people. Something that PPG don't believe in. Apparently. But like I keep telling you guys, the people have the power. Hold the government responsible, dude. We got displaced Palestinians in Gaza sending a message to the American students. Shit, dude. It seems to me like the Palestinians agree. They don't say thank you for voting for Biden because of America can unionize. They don't write that, dude. Weird. Casey, I think, made a point about this as well.
جميع الدول وعلى رأسها الجامعات والطالبات اللي قدموا لنا الدعم المعنوي والمادي وعلى رأسهم جامعة كولومبيا وطلاب كولومبيا شاكرين لهم جميعا وكل من ساهم وكل من دعم قضيتنا وصمودنا أمام.
Yeah, I think when you are in Gaza and you're being fucking killed, going on 7 months at this point, and you feel like the world is standing still, then you feel like someone's with you when something like what is happening now is happening. And that's one of the best things. If you look at what has happened in favor of the people in Gaza on behalf of the public scene, right? So you got Hezbollah that did something in the north. That started initially. That's one event that started. Then you got the Yemeni Houthis that started the second thing, right? By blocking the Red Sea. And then you, the Iran doesn't really matter in this regard. And then you got the protest for solidarity with Gaza worldwide. But there is Aaron Bushnell who did something. That's three things, right? There has been protest all over the place for the last 6 months, right? But the students' ones are more noticeable and more relevant for that fucking reason. There's like 4 things the global community has done. Obviously, there is the aid. The only thing I'm mentioning the aid is because of the dead aid workers, which is ridiculous.
الحرب والشعواء حرب الإبادة الحرب الصهيونية على الشعب الفلسطيني. نشكر الجميع، نشكر الطلاب، نشكر الجامعات وعلى رأسها جامعة كولومبيا. نتمنى من الجميع الذين دعموا صمودنا بالمظاهرات والاستمرار والديمومة على هذه المظاهرات لدعم صمودنا. نتمنى منكم المزيد، نتمنى منكم المظاهرات حتى نتمكن من انتزاع حقوقنا أمام العالم كله. وشكرا لكم.
Look at the K. But perfect, dude. Perfect. Hey, Truth. How you doing? Again, an elderly woman speaking at a demonstration. She was one of the leaders of the demonstrations against the Vietnam War in 1968. Very cool, dude. Today she returned to the same place 56 years later to say Palestine must be free.
Palestine must be free. And Palestine will be free. So when I saw the Gaza in solidarity encampments at Columbia, and that they were saying that they were inspired.
You know what? I have no doubt that during the Vietnam War and all that shit, there's like fucking people saying, oh, we need to do this, this, and that. Unionize. Right? Like, trying to take advantage of this situation. Well, I have no fucking doubt, dude.
By what we had done 56 years ago. We took over buildings, totally illegal, but we took over buildings. Courageous students at Columbia.
IDF retreated from Gaza in a military defeat, having not achieved any of its military goals. So if you go to Wiki, you will see that the IDF were defeated in Gaza.
They risked and suffered both suspension and arrest, insisting the university end their complicity by divesting from the racist genocide in Palestine. They've already threatened to bring in the National Guard. You didn't live through it, but they're...
Because the genocide is still happening. The IDF, the genocide is happening with bombs. But the IDF's military goal was a military defeat, right? That's why it's so pathetic. The IDF retreat from Gaza is a military defeat. So technically, just like America retreating from Afghanistan or whatever, right?
Were students that were killed. That doesn't mean stop what you're doing and cower. That means make it bigger and bigger and bigger. We are the majority. And all I can say is, keep going, keep going. They will have to concede if we keep going.
Yes, she's right, though. Hold the government responsible, though. Keep escalating. Do you know what's funny, Snowflake? Is that there's only one way Israel can end, dude. When America eventually becomes less relevant, so will Israel. How do you think that would look like, though? You know, it used to be that the only safe place for Jews was in Arab countries. But Israel will end. There's no other way because of how it behaves, obviously. The nature of Israel is occupation and instability. Ukraine is beat, dude. America admits that. The Western media is now admitting that Ukraine is losing. Obviously, Ukraine has been losing since the beginning. But what's relevant in this context is that the American media is admitting that Ukraine is losing. Right? And you've been fighting the Palestinians for 100 years, dude. The first massacre Israel did was in 1937, right? They just went in and killed civilians and children, raped women and also children. Right? Obviously, like, the actions of a coward and a sicko, obviously. And today, what we have witnessed the last 6 months is that generally looking, right? Generally looking, the IDF are fucking sickos, dude. Psychopath, rapist, right? Cowards, rapists and cowards. Killers and torturers of children, right? That's what we know about the IDF. The entire world has seen that, right? Israel has been exposed to the entire world what they are. Not only Israel, but the IDF. So all of them has been exposed. So that is what has been achieved, right? And so Israel just won't survive. October 7th was the beginning of the end of Israel. Right? The only reason why Israel exists is because of American backing. And American backing will soon come to an end, right? With the rise of BRICS, multipolarity, that means that America won't be relevant. That means they can't back Israel. That means that Israel is easily defeated. We saw what Hamas did on October 7th, right? And so on October 7th, we clearly saw how beatable Israel is. And if you look at what the IDF is doing in Gaza, and you look at the videos from inside Gaza, right? You can also see an disorganized IDF army that looks beatable, right? So could you imagine a country like Iran against Israel, dude? It'll be a no match. It'll be a fucking no match, dude. So it's very easy to see the end of Israel. Very easy. One might think that America is using Israel as a pawn, and they would be willing to like just let Israel go. I mean, what other choice do they have to? It's not like they have a choice. I think they will do that. They have no other choice. So America just say, whatever. Israeli Channel 12. The military and security establishment expects the International Criminal Court to issue an arrest warrant against Benjamin Netanyahu, Yoav Gallant, and Herzi Halevi this week. So these three will possibly get an arrest warrant by the ICC. We got students here at Harvard University raising the Palestinian flag. Let's talk about a greater Israel in Ukraine, though. Police arrest US presidential candidate Jill Stein and her campaign manager and deputy campaign manager Jason Cole and Kelly Merrill Kaya while standing in support of students and of faculty members coming from Palestine and Washington University in St. Louis. What? US presidential candidate Jill Stein. Alright. Israeli settlers militias committed a deadly attack on the village of Al-Bukhayr in the West Bank on April 12th. While settler attacks are not new in the areas, they are growing increasingly in frequency and violent.
Hundreds of armed Israeli settlers ravaged this Palestinian town in the occupied West Bank. Here's what you need to know. Armed Israeli settlers shot a young Palestinian man in the head who died right here and injured several other Palestinians from the village. And that's not all. They set 36 houses on fire, leaving 19 of them unlivable. Over 70 sheep were stolen and killed, 9 farmhouses burned down, and over 100 trees uprooted. The village of Al-Mughayr is home to about 4,000 Palestinians who make their living as farmers. It's surrounded by 2 Israeli settlements, including this one behind me, an Israeli military camp, and a settler road that runs straight through the center of the village. The Israeli settlers living nearby, with the help of the Israeli army, attacked the Palestinian residents in an attempt to collectively punish them and drive them out of their land. And this wasn't the only village ravaged that day. And while this attack was especially brutal, it was not the first. And you're probably wondering how this is all allowed to happen. Well, settler violence is sanctioned by Israel. How else are they supposed to ethnically cleanse the land and replace it with Israeli settlers?
Exactly, no. Exactly. It is sanctioned by Israel. I think he left. Nice name. Weird one. Weird dude. Zelensky vastly downplayed the war's true toll. Sorry. So Zelensky said there was just like 30,000 people who died, dude. But MPs in the Ukrainian are saying, oh, that's definitely not right. With US aid resumed, Ukraine will try to dig itself out of trouble. Okay, does it sound too good, dude? This is Russian clusters, dude. I thought Russia had no thermal imaging. Yeah. I remember there was a guy from Canada in here, Notobot. In the beginning of the Ukrainian conflict, he was just like, oh, the Russian equipment is bad. They have no thermal imaging and shit like that, dude. Just like they sometimes use the French. Like, it turns out that all these fucking cobras, they were fucking wrong, dude. They're just full of Western propaganda. Fucking lies, dude. The Guardian praises the ass of Nazi battalion. However, it tries to prove that these Ukraine Nazis have already completely abandoned their ultra-right-wing views, just like the SS Nazis in 1945. But the most amusing thing is the material was this statement. The success of this unit on the Ukrainian front is due to high morale. So I'm just wondering about which success. Remember these people, they surrendered in Azovstal. And the next time they were used was in Avdiivka, where they also got fucked, dude. I did not know that truth. Yes, this is from The Guardian, I think. Yeah, The Guardian. Take a look at this truth. Are you ready? I'm glad you're here. Upsilla, are you here? This is in Indonesia, a surveillance video of an unusual object hiding in the ocean. So on the left, it's Indonesia. I got two videos. The first one I'm going to show you is from May 21st, 2021. And the next one I'm going to show you is from April 14, 2024. This is the older video. Take a look. Indonesia. It looks like there's a smoke trail of sorts.
Tak tahu.
I don't know, dude. What the fuck is that? Look at the speed that's going down, dude. Like slowly descending.
Tak tahu.
Like it's in a parachute.
Tak tahu.
And then just into the ocean. Tied to a drone? It's huge, dude. This looks huge. This is from 2024. April. Bit better quality. Nothing behind it this time. Just slowly descending down into the ocean. But this one looked huge as fuck. Truth. I think it's like the size of a fucking space rocket, dude. PPG, I feel like you were fucking exposed, dude. I feel like you're fucking exposed, dude. Tesla CEO Elon Musk kicks off surprise trip to Beijing after Blinken left, dude. The businessman wants to negotiate with Beijing on the deployment of software for fully autonomous cars. as well as the transfer of data from China outside the country. The latter is needed to use the information collected on Chinese roads to train the autopilot. So I think what he really wants to do is like buy data he can use to train his AI with, or like pre-trained data. And that's something that China have a lot of, dude. Folks, if it was a buying vessel, which vessel is it? We got Lebanese meeting up with Egyptians in Italy. Very nice, boys. Very fucking nice, boys. And take a look at this. Truth. This is a new video from the Pentagon. 9/11.
Holy shit, somebody finally found the confiscated video.
I remember Kairos and PPG was saying, yeah, it was a Boeing airplane.
Where it was proving it wasn't a plane, it was a Scud missile.
No, it's a missile, dude.
Amongst the community, because I've been awake for 20 years since this happened. That there was
But what about the engine, Truth, that was located on the side, dude? What about that one?
person who had this tape that turned it over to the FBI. The FBI concealed this information, and as you can see, that is not a plane. That is a Scud missile.
There's multiple videos where you can see this, and you can see a white object coming in that looks like a missile, dude.
Those who knew, we already knew you did shit, but this was the last piece of
Right.
the puzzle.
It's very obvious. There's multiple angles where you can see this. But the Americans are just like, okay, so our government blew itself up and engaged in a war that killed millions. Let's vote for Biden. That's the Americans, dude. That's the American. Saying, okay, we knew that the government did this to us, but we're still gonna blame the people that we killed in millions of, right? So millions of people died because of this. Because of artificial wars that were started. And the Americans are not holding anyone responsible. They're just saying, yeah, vote for Biden, who did shit like this, dude. I'm not sure if Saudi Arabia was that involved, dude. Why would they? Yeah, Israel more likely. Israel more likely, though. We got more videos about tornadoes in China. But there it is, though.
汪汪，小心，慢点，慢点！
哇！这是把这些吹起来，哎，你都拍上了吧？
拍上了，拍上！哇！
I definitely don't think it was a fucking plane, Shakay. I've seen more angles than this from the attack on Pentagon. It looks like a fucking missile, dude. There's also a missile there's like a cruise missile America have that looks like a tiny plane of sorts. Who is Khashoggi? Khashoggi. PPG, did you see how that guy, Game Boy, was saying that you were like shitting on women or something like that, dude? The Saudi arms dealer. Who are you? We don't need to watch these, dude. What did they post? PPG. We are witnessing a historic rebirth of the labor union movement in America. And then what? How's that gonna fix APEC, dude? How's that gonna deal with lobbyism, dude? I don't see it, dude. I don't feel like you're not really describing how the voting for Biden and fixing unions is gonna do anything good, dude. It feels more like a grift at this point. Biden at the White House. This is at the correspondent dinner where there's protest outside.
And so is what all of you do when you report truth over lies.
Yeah, Biden is like, there's a shit ton of more lies with Biden than there is with Trump. Not that it matters, but there is.
I want to close the night with my genuine thanks to the free press. There are
Say that to Julian Assange, dude. Gonzalo Lira.
some who call you the enemy of the people. That's wrong and it's dangerous. You literally risk your lives doing your job. You do. Covering everything from natural disasters to pandemics to wars and so much more. And some of your colleagues have given their lives, and many have suffered grievous injuries. Other reporters have lost their freedom. Journalism is clearly not a crime, not here, not there, not anywhere in the world.
Julian Assange is literally fucking dying, dude. And America the American politicians is caught on tape saying they want to assassinate him, dude. At this point, it feels like a fucking cult PPG. Feels like a fucking cult, dude. They vote for Biden shit. David Cameron. Amendments to Iraq's anti-prostitution law, which criminalizes LGBT people, are dangerously and worrying. So now the Western leaders are angry that Iraq doesn't allow prostitution. But Denmark doesn't do that either. Nice going, PPG. I think so as well too. I think so as well, dude. At this point, I think so as well, dude. Pakistani students exposed to hypocrisy. We saw this earlier. Saw that earlier, dude. Israeli politician responds to question about mass graves of civilians, including women and children in Gaza. So I'm a bit nervous about this video because we can actually see the graves, dude. I think we're just gonna listen to the audio. Let's just listen to the audio without the video, okay?
At least 283 corpses found in a mass grave at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. The UN Human...
Can't wait for them to do some sort of mental gymnastic. Oh, these Hamas killed them, or Hamas was there, or these are Hamas fighters. It's not true, they're not there, dude.
Human rights chief has said he is absolutely horrified. Who do you think those bodies are?
Probably terrorists, because the ratio of combatant to innocent that Israel has is unprecedented in modern warfare. We know we've killed about 15,000 terrorists. There was a terrible battle.
No one knows that, dude. No one knows you killed 15,000. Because you're given no proof of anything. No fucking proof of anything, dude.
In those areas. So the chances are...
How do you think these people died?
In gun battles with Israel.
Why do you think some of the bodies were found with ties around their hands?
Well, because we probably arrested the terrorists.
And then killed them.
Well,
that's still a war crime, by the way. Right? You can't do war crimes against terrorists. It's, right? They think they can just do whatever because they deem the enemy like inferior, that they can like just ignore the law.
I don't know if the terrorists fought back. I wasn't there, but all
with hands tied behind their back, dude.
All I can tell you is,
remember there's signs of torture on children.
That this has been a very difficult urban warfare, that nobody on earth has experienced this type of warfare, where the terrorists are...
America has experience in this type of warfare. The American military has experience in like bombing residential areas where there's militants inside. So they just kill all the civilians as well, dude. This is exactly what America has done in the past in Iraq, Afghanistan. They've done this in the past. Just kill everyone.
Hiding in tunnels where they're cowards because they won't face...
Yeah, but this is not the tunnels, dude. So these people were killed at the hospital. There's nothing to do with the tunnels, dude. So if Hamas is in the tunnels, how does that help your argument, dude? It's like PPG and Kairos level stuff.
Face their enemy. They just leave innocent people up there whilst they hide in tunnels that are bigger than the London Underground. And they come out, they shoot, and it could be that many of them were shot and they were shooting in a battle. And it could be that there were bombs thrown by them and grenades. There could be a million...
With your hands tied behind your back, dude. You remember these were shot behind your back? Right, execution style. Yeah, the IDF soldiers, they just admit it, dude. So you got like some people like defending them, but the IDF is just, I mean, yeah, we just fucking killed them, raped them, dude. We also killed the children and raped the children, right? And then we have to wait for an investigation done by Israel. So remember when Russia was accused of war crimes? Could you imagine Russia investigating themselves, dude?
In different scenarios of why these...
Yes, it is. Just search for Pakistani. When you go to my Telegram channel, there's a search icon. On top of it, to the right, there's two search icons. One is global, one is local to the channel. Then you just search for Pakistani.
Were found, but remember...
Yes, it is true. Yes, it is. Search for Pentagon, and you'll find it.
We're in the middle of it all.
I just to clarify for me, if you would, how do they fight back with their hands tied behind their backs?
Well, we don't know what they were doing before their hands were tied behind their backs too.
Yeah, but if they fought back and you captured them, you don't get to kill them, dude. That's a war crime. So she's admitting to the fucking war crime.
No, but if you've managed to cable tie them, they shouldn't,
yes, and
we shouldn't subsequently find them dead, should we?
The problem is that these people think it's okay to kill them. So they always get caught in the lie when she's actually under the convention that it's fine to kill them. So it's very tough for them to like defend this.
And maybe, again, we're just conjecturing. Maybe his friend threw a grenade, and then what happens? Maybe there was a missile, maybe they threw a rocket, and then what happens?
How do you throw a fucking missile? Do you take like a missile? I mean...
Happens. Again, this is conjecture. I wasn't there, you weren't there. We can't know. All I know is that our army has the highest...
Neither was Amnesty International, and they say this...
Very fucking despicable, dude. No accountability. This woman right there, she has been doing that sort of coverage throughout the last few months, where she asks what seems like the right questions to. And is that that's Sky News? Britain though, not America. Sorry, Sky News, not Australia. Which is weird, right? Because Sky News is super cocked, right? But it could be that this airs like fucking shit o'clock at night, dude. When no one sees it. But nevertheless, Russia to replace America in Sahel region, says Larry Johnson. Hey, Keeper, how are you doing?
Well, it's failing. It's the easiest way to put it. They've had a lot of, some predator bases in both of those countries that were designed to go find Al-Qaeda's operatives and try to destroy them. But, clearly there's the United States, the conduct of U.S. policy in this regard is being rejected by the local governments. So it is really a black eye for the United States in terms of its overall loss of influence. And, it's being, I think, going to be replaced by Russia. Russia doesn't have a history of enslaving Black Africans, number one. Russia is not closely tied to the colonial empires, the French, the Brits, the Germans, the Dutch, the Belgians, who have a long history of exploiting Africa and exploiting the people, exploiting the resources. So I think that both Russia and China are viewed as honest brokers, to be candid, much more so than the United States. This is part of this broader, let's call it disassembly of the U.S.-led rules-based international order that the United States' effort to dominate the world is being reversed. It had reached its zenith, and
IDAN is a fraud as well, PPG. Remember when Palestinians called out unelectable airways and IDAN Simpsons, and they didn't want their support?
It's now
truth.
heading back downhill. So I think this is just one more sign that the U.S. policy has gone astray.
The problem in America is that in order to work in some cases, you have to behave, and America can't do that, dude. Truth. I got 2 Telegram channels. I got 2 of them. You need to join the first one as well. You were on the second one. Try joining the first one and search for Pentagon. The second one is for chats, and I have some videos there. But I have the main one as the first one. So you should be able to find it on the first one. We should be able to do that. If I search for Pentagon. No? Huh. Well. Maybe I can post it and I couldn't. That's weird, dude. That because it's spelled with a fucking... It's spelled weird, dude. So annoying. I'm forwarding it to the other channel. It's spelled weird. The price of American aid has been announced. US officials put pressure on Ukrainian authorities to solve problems with the adoption of unpopular mobilization law. This was the condition for unlocking the US military assistance package for the armed forces of Ukraine. Britain to deploy homegrown hypersonic missile by 2030. I thought the hypersonic missile were not good at all, dude, because Russia were using them. But now everyone wants them. Lol, dude. Lol. So that's 6 years to develop hypersonic. We will see, boys. What is this?
Tell me when. I'm with Philip from Luxembourg. He's with an organization called Ukraine.
Ukraine. That's a bad name, dude.
And they do really great work. They supply hospitals with medical equipment. They bring in emergency service vehicles. And today we're on a trip and we're here in Donetsk. So we're here at the sign. And hopefully it's a safe and proper mission. And I can watch this man doing great work. But these kind of people from all over the world that come here to help Ukraine, they're heroes. You know? We're surrounded by heroes.
Cringe. Yeah, fix the fight first. We got Kulebe here trying to convince the Americans that if Putin sees them throw more money at Zelensky and the gang, he will be terrified.
Because Putin is a political animal who can sense fear, and when he does, he becomes more aggressive. If he sees the strengths, if he senses the strengths, as it was recently demonstrated as the one recently demonstrated by the Congress, he will be forced to step back.
Приїхав Борис Джонсон до Києва і сказав, що ми взагалі
Boris Johnson came to Kiev, said, don't sign anything with Russia.
не будемо з ними нічого підписувати. І давайте будемо
Just
просто...
let us just fight, dude. Lol, dude. No treaty, we'll just fight, got it? That's how it ended up. This is at the White House fucking dinner, dude. Okay, correspondent dinner. This is some sort of comedian. And like always, it's bullshit. And he's gonna talk something that it's obviously prearranged, even though it doesn't seem like it. You ready?
It's also wonderful to be back in Washington. I love being in Washington. The last time I was in D.C., I left my cocaine at the White House.
What I think he's trying to do is like what I think the tactic here is to belittle the cocaine found at the White House. Try to make it seem like nothing.
Luckily, the president was able to put it to good use for his State of the Union.
Biden is laughing too. He seems a bit annoyed.
I'm kidding, of course. The president doesn't call it cocaine. He calls it high-speed rail.
Cringe. And then we get more cringe here, which I'm not sure we can go through because it's just annoying. But I get what she's doing, but it's just annoying.
The UN Secretary General says Gaza is becoming a graveyard for children, with over 4,000 gone and over 1,000 missing under the rubble. Daijoubu janai. Ohio, America-chan! Since World War II, the United States has given over $200 billion to Israel in aid, adjusted for inflation. Kya! Suguru-kun, as of September, about 62% of Americans are living from paycheck to paycheck. Ooh. There's no point in advancing technology if it doesn't lead to increased happiness, safety, and quality of life. Ooh. Moshi moshi!
Okay, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. We got a new suicide drone from Iran. Has a structure similar to the Lancet drone. That looks very much like a fucking Lancet. Click like you said something earlier. I think I fucking missed your message, dude. Did I miss that, dude? Where did you go? I don't know. Get that. When I see the Lancet, I was reminded of Click. Matthew Miller. We are deeply concerned by the passage of the amendment of existing anti-prostitution and homosexuality legislation in Iraq. Just let other countries do what they want to do. That's democracy. I know Casey hates democracy. People are taking their fucking gold reserves off from America, dude. Moving their gold reserves out of the US. I thought that Germany tried to do that and they were not allowed to a while back. A resident of Chernihiv filed a lawsuit against the Verkhovna Rada, the Ukrainian government, due to the inaction in setting presidential elections.
Друзі, я подав в суд на Верховну Раду. Як ви знаєте, згідно 85 статті Конституції України, Верховна Рада має призначати вибори президента. Відповідно до Конституції, статті 76 та 77. Чергові вибори мають відбутись в останню неділю березня 5-го року повноважень президента. Тому я й подав до Верховного суду на бездіяльність Верховної Ради України про непризначення виборів президента, які мали відбутись вже цієї весни. 15 квітня суд ухвалив відкрити провадження по справі. Я очікую, що суд стане на сторону всіх українців та підтримує мої вимоги законно, згідно Конституції, призначити президентські вибори в Україні. Друзі, якщо ви підтримуєте мою вимогу до Верховної Ради призначити вибори президента, будь ласка, напишіть в коментарях.
I am very nervous about this guy, about what's going to happen to him, obviously. But the court accepted the claim for proceedings. And the Ukrainian parliament will have 15 days to provide explanations. We'll see, boys, we'll see. Latvia asked to turn basements into air raid shelters. Authorities in Latvia called on residents to use Saturday's annual big cleanup day to turn basements into air shelters. So Latvia is fear-mongering their people as another step in the process to militarize against Russia and prepare for World War III. Okay? And the people of Latvia has been propagandized, so they will probably buy it, dude. They will probably buy it. Back to the protest. This is again in Tokyo, in front of the Google office. The Google office in Tokyo is doing a contract with the Israeli military and government for cloud solutions. Nice one, Japan. Nice one, dude. And then we got some videos from different groups in Gaza. So not exactly Hamas, but militants inside Gaza. They're gonna show you how they produce missiles. So what is that exactly? It's a small-ass rocket. I would imagine these are like the smallest rockets we see, with maybe like a 5 to 10 kilogram warhead, which barely makes a dent in the sidewalk. I don't know which faction this is. Shikaf would know. Yeah. That's another one.
والمدنيين شهداء بإطلاق رشقة صاروخية على موقع زكيم العسكري.
Tiny rockets, dude. Okay. Storm Shadow missiles are being repaired at the MBDA UK plant in Stevenage, UK.
We've just announced that we're going to increase our defence spending to 2.5%.
Was there any vote about increasing defence spending, or did you just do it, dude?
Of GDP by 2030. A big part of that is making sure we've got the munitions and stockpiles to fight any future war.
Well, a big part of that is like money laundering and cutting social spending and preparing for war with Russia, right? And paying more money to the American military complex.
Which is why I've come to the Storm Shadow production line to see the Storm Shadow, which has been so devastating in Ukrainian.
What? Devastating? What did it damage, dude? It made a hole in the bridge and then it was repaired?
This is part of our approach to make sure that our armed forces have all the weapons that they need and much bigger stockpiles for what, I'm afraid, is a rather more dangerous world.
Because of you. By 2030 there will be 9x the NATO arms. What? We know what they can produce, right? NATO has been producing weapons for a long fucking time. More than 6 years. Why do you think they will make more? Do you know what the other problem NATO countries have? Cheap energy. This means it's gonna be tough producing anything. Doubling the production is nothing, dude. There's so little combined. When NATO countries double their production, so is Russia. Russia is so far ahead. Their production is already tenfold compared to the combined West. So they just can't keep up, dude. That feeling when the guys made missiles out of shit and sticks and kept the guys with the coolest air defense in the world on their toes. You can build buildings, yes, but why haven't they done that yet? So the buildings in America has already been expanded as much as they could. But they want to expand it even more, but that's going to take 5 to 8 years. but then they can produce. We already know the numbers. America published the numbers that they would do. It's still too little, dude. They were producing 14,000 and they want to produce 28,000 shells. Okay, that's not a lot, dude. Come on, they need to produce hundreds of thousands. What they're doing is just, they need to produce 10 times more than what they want to produce. That's what they need to do. The spending will not even be close. Russia will be, I don't know, yeah, but you're misunderstanding. 100 billion in the West is nothing because a javelin cost 400,000. The similar weapon in Russia cost 5,000. So 100 billion, that's not a match, dude. You can't just say do some research. So I already know America has published what they want to scale up and the number they want to scale up to, and I just told you. Right? Yeah, but it doesn't matter, come on. Because America is spending money, but when you have a privatized military, your weapons are being produced for profit, not for efficiency. It's not purpose-driven, it is profit-driven. So you can't compare the numbers. I told you that already. A nationalized military is always going to be better. The fact of the matter is, I just told you a number. 400,000. That's what you're paying for a javelin. Russia is paying 5,000. And you're worried about spending, dude. We already know what they can do. They can do nothing. They can't do shit, dude. And I know I've done the research. I do this every day, dude. They said they would up their shells to like twice. This is still nothing. It's still fucking nothing. If they produce 28,000 a month, that's what you use a day. It's still the same thing, dude. It's still the same thing, dude. Right? We don't need 30,000 shells. We need 300,000. Right? But they're not doing that. They're just so far behind. You look at a number and you think 100 billion is a lot in America. It's not, because there's so much money laundering and there's so much overhead. Combat, you have a problem where you say I don't understand without saying what I don't understand. Now you're saying I don't understand scale without saying what you mean. Now you're saying my argument is weak without saying what is weak about it. Combat, this is typical with you. You say something is bad without saying what's wrong with it. You do realize I'm a software developer. If there's one thing I understand, it's fucking scaling, right? It's an integral part of what I do. I already told you. America published the numbers. Why do we run through this again? I've mentioned it 4 times now. They were producing 14,000. They want to scale up to 28,000. I told you. That won't cut it, dude. They're still tenfold behind Russia. And while the West is scaling up, so is Russia. So I know, I do the research, I do this every day. You just come in here and say arbitrary stuff that has no meaning. You say I don't understand, but I'm specifying what I don't understand. So you're doing that thing you always do. Don't tell me I'm wrong, Combat. Tell me what I'm wrong about, dude. It's getting boring. NATO can't do shit, dude. Are they gonna produce 8,000 shells instead of 4,000? That's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. You could use that in a fucking hour, dude. That's used in a fucking hour. They are so far behind. Then what they can do is so pathetic. They need to scale up to such a size that they just can't do it. The economy, the military is privatized. I told you that from the beginning. What they do is for profit, which means they will never be able to win all Russia's. They will never have more weapons that are better than Russia's. That will never happen. That will never happen. Thank you, Wizard. No, they don't, Fox. There is some in Britain, some in Germany, but it's so dumb, dude. I already told you about that. They tried to produce weapons, they tried to produce shells to Ukraine 15 months ago, right? They said they were going to produce 1 million shells. And they had money to do so, but no one did anything. They didn't produce anything, dude. No, it's gonna take 5 to 8 years to do that. Combat. They said it would take 5 to 8 years to do that. And what they're producing, they were producing 1,400, and they scaled it up this time to 18,000. Sorry, not 1,400, 18,000. Right? Because it's very easy to triple it, but all you have to do is like work 24/7. How they did it was just to maximize the workforce. So they just told the workforce to work 24/7. That's how they scale up from 14,000 to 18,000. And now they are saying, this is public information, that they need new buildings. They need new buildings to produce more, right? So they said it would take 5 to 8 years to scale up because they need new buildings. And at that point, they would have 30,000 or something like that. It was still a pathetic number, right? And now you're saying 70, 80,000. That's still not good. You do realize that that's used in 2 days, right? That's a number you can use in 2 days. And that still won't outscale Russia at all. Russia is producing 3 times that at this point. And if Russia wanted, they could scale up way more. It's so much easier. Right? And America has admitted they need new infrastructure. And America has a different problem. Even if you have new infrastructure, they need to source the material, right? That's a big problem for America. That's a big fucking problem, man. America talked about decoupling China from their military and replacing that with NATO. Good luck, dude. Good luck.
I yield back, Mr. Chair.
The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Waltz, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
I do understand what scale means, dude. Telling me I don't understand is not an argument.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary,
you can just explain things, combat. Right?
By a statement you just made, and I just want to touch on.
Of course they won't. Of course they won't, dude. America is doing everything they can to produce as many shells as they can right now. So is NATO. And they can't do shit, dude. Hey, Rangers, how are you doing?
On Representative Gates's concern about readiness. I'm the chairman of the Readiness Subcommittee. I mean, I understand.
That's the problem we have with the American weapons, is that they're always going to be for profit. They're never going to be for purpose. Profit versus purpose. America versus Russia. That's why they're always going to lose. Always.
Understand there is a quality over quantity argument.
And we know, we've seen in Ukraine, the one who has the most weapons wins. Look at the FAB, the glide bomb. Cheap, simple. Compare that to the Storm Shadow, dude.
Basic issue is if they can't fly.
Yeah, but they can't scale up to a meaningful way combat. They can't do anything meaningful. They can't do anything. They can't do anything that has meaning. Right? But we're just gonna have to wait and see. Combat, they had 2 years to scale up, right? 2 years has passed. They could have scaled up. No one in Europe scaled up. So we already have historical data. It's been over 2 years. Right? And no one has done anything in Europe. I told you, there was examples in the past where the European contractors were told to produce 1 million shells and no one did anything. Why is that? So you think I don't understand, but I do this every day, dude. And I know they can't do shit because they already tried. If they could, they would have. It's money that's gone, right? It's very easy for me to argue because I have data to support it. You're predicting something that you can't prove will happen. I can just tell you, yeah, but that would have happened already, right? Because it's been over 2 years. And nothing has been scaled up. Not even in America. America didn't scale up shit. The only thing they did in America was to get their factory workers to work 24/7. That's what they did, dude. That's what they did. That's after 2.5 years combat, right? On Monday, I said the new facility is completed. Germany will have the ability to produce 200,000 artillery shells per year. 200,000. You do realize that's used in 4 days, right? 200,000 artillery shells per day. That's less than what Russia produces in a month. But we're gonna have to wait to see if they will do something in combat. What I'm telling you is that they have done anything yet, and they could have done this from the beginning, right? They could have done this in February, of course. But here we are. Germany has only collapsed, right? In fact, Germany stopped producing the Taurus missile. So the only thing we have in practice is that they have stopped producing. Yeah, it's a 10-year plan. It's like, I think it's like 8 years something, Casey. Nothing that, and it's like a tiny ass proportion. It would like the production would be like 1.5 times or something like that, which is still nothing. It's still so fucking nothing. America and the West needs like way more. They need like 100 times more than that, and they're just so far from going anything close. You can just look at the Patriot production. The Patriot production. They have produced 10,000 Patriot missiles in total, forever. They produce 550 missiles a year, right? Russia can deplete 500 missiles in 2 days. That's... Yeah, but if you're fighting an enemy, they're using a war of attrition, then you will lose combat. If you don't have any weapons, you will lose. Hey, Furnace, how are you doing? So it doesn't matter that NATO is not using war of attrition. What NATO's doctrine, combat, is to shell the enemy, and then as they run back, they shell them, right? NATO doesn't have a doctrine that is fit for Russia or any big armies. Ukraine is using a NATO doctrine in the counteroffensive. And the doctrine was that they would shell the enemy, right? And they hoped that they would run back, and then they would just run them over. But that didn't happen. So the NATO doctrine has already been trialed and tested in Ukraine, and it failed. But if Russia is using war of attrition, and they have more weapons, then they will win. And that's what they have done.
That is a strategic.
Yeah, but there is a NATO doctrine. And the NATO doctrine is catered around facing a really weak army. That's why it failed so miserably in Ukraine.
Failing on our part. And I think the Pentagon has become so focused on, I know it's a balance, I know there's a pendulum swing, but on...
But we know what NATO can produce. We know what America have said they can produce, and it's nothing. It's fucking nothing, dude.
Making these kind of handmade, bespoke, high-tech Ferrari.
NATO is handing over all to Ukraine. Yes, they are. But NATO got an order for 1 million shells, and they didn't produce any. That's a long time ago. Look at all the money they could have produced. Why didn't they do it, combat?
But sometimes you need a fleet of pickup trucks, and you certainly...
Good night, Wizard. Sleep well. Thank you for being here.
Ferraris or pickup trucks that can operate in the desert and can operate out in the corrosive...
Yeah. But if you're tripling the GDP levels for war, remember you said it wasn't for war, by the way, but here we are again. That it is for war with Russia, right? World War III. You still need the resources to do it, right? You still need the capacity to do it, right? Remember, there was an order a while ago with money. You didn't need the GDP. Why am I telling you this again, dude? There was an order in the past for 1 million artillery shells that was paid. No one picked it up because they can't do it. So GDP is not an argument. Now that's the last time I'm telling you that. the NATO countries had the chance to ramp up production and earn more money. They didn't do it. What do you mean? They were told to do it. They were told to do it. They've been told to do it now. What do you mean there's no need for it? What the fuck are you talking about? Ukraine has always been needing these shells. That's just bullshit, combat. Ukraine needs these shells, and they needed them back then. Always. That's why the order was there, because it was in dire need. Not only was it in need, it was in urgent need. Urgent. Very urgent. So you're just making shit up, dude. And I didn't take you for being insincere. Hey, Ants. How you doing? Yeah, we'll have to see combat. But from now, what we've seen is that they can't do it. And neither can America. But we can just wait and see if you're right, dude. 2 years will pass really quick. And then we'll see if they produce more. And we'll see if I'm right or you are right. But until now, I am right. Because we already have more than 2 years to look at. Okay? Let's see. Remember, when the West scales up, so is Russia. And Russia is already ahead, right? You got like, was it 30,000 shells versus 250,000 shells. Russia is already ramping up, right? So even if the West is ramping up, if they can't outmatch Russia, it simply doesn't matter. Yeah, but if NATO is not in a war, then neither is Russia. Right? What you're seeing in Ukraine is a NATO proxy war and an American proxy war, surely. That's clear to anyone. It's clear now that you don't need to be in Ukraine. You don't need to be in NATO to get help from NATO. So obviously, any NATO country which were told to ramp up, they would have done so, but none has happened. And it's very understandable on the behalf of the UK and Germany, because they're in a fucking recession, dude. But they had the money to buy it. They just had to say yes. I wonder where they will get the fucking materials from. Remember, Israel were getting explosives from Turkey.
Environment in the Pacific. So let's talk about some of your pickup trucks. The Air Force owns and operates DOD's largest fleet of commercial derivative aircraft. They use commercial parts. This, Mr. Secretary, is a bag of...
Not even military parts, dude. Commercial parts. Not military grade. You got commercial grade, industrial grade, and military grade. And then maybe like space grade or something. That's commercial grade, dude. The American weapons were built by commercial grade. Think about that. I'm doing good, Ants. Thank you.
Bushings. This bag of bushings, stamped out by machinists, don't need a high school diploma. It's not anything high tech about this. All of this bag is compliant with the FAA specifications. How much do you think the Air Force pays for this bag of bushings?
I don't know, Congressman.
$90,000. This is a
at this point, we fucking know what is happening. This is money laundering. Combat. The American weapons are not built. The American weapon companies, the bankers, they are well aware that they won't win. They don't want to win, dude. They don't fucking want to win. They just want to earn money.
$90,000 bag of bushings that you need for any jet turbine engine just to operate. So the exorbitant cost due to DoD only buying commercial parts from the OEMs, which is essentially sole source, is literally driving us out of business. I mean, the interest on our debt alone is now exceeding, for the first time in American history, the entire defense budget. We can't afford it anymore. So with FAA compliant parts, you cut the cost in half or even more. So my question is, why can't, these are commercial birds out there. By the way, it has all kinds of implications for contested logistics when you can access.
This is why a private military is always going to struggle, dude.
Commercial parts in the middle of a
Good night, Wizard.
Potentially in the Pacific. Why can't we use FAA compliant? It's this safety standard leader in the world. Why can't we do that?
I don't know a reason why we couldn't. I'm familiar with some of the issues you're trying to raise here from my previous position.
Yeah, I know you are. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, Defense Logistics Agency used to report to me. That's where we do a lot of our parts acquisition. And we had an issue when I was...
Look, he's hiding his face, dude. He knows this is fucked.
There with people gouging us, basically, charging us too much for parts.
How old? This is probably old, dude. 10 days ago.
I think in court over.
You know what's funny? No one fucking said anything about the 400,000 Javelin, dude. That's fucking nuts. 400,000 for Javelin versus 5,000.
What can we, just in the interest of time, Secretary, come back to us? How can this committee help you fix that? We literally can't afford the modernization, the recruiting, the basing, everything we need if we're paying $90,000 for a bag of bushings.
I work with Dr. LaPlante on this because it's a systemic issue, and again, most of the parts buying is done through DLA.
But you have the largest fleet of commercial birds that.
Well,
right? You've got the Ferraris, but these are the pickup trucks, and we should just be able.
What
to
we have to be able to do is challenge the prices, and we have to have knowledgeable buyers who can understand.
What you need to do is have competition that isn't fraudulent. But that was eliminated a long time ago. There used to be like 25 contractors for this, which is not a lot, by the way. But now there's like 5, and all of them work together. It's by design, dude. Obviously, this is illegal, but it's America.
And when they're getting a ridiculous price and go in and ensure that they get.
Let's work together on that. I just need, in the interest of time.
Obviously, this won't be fixed. At this point, this is the existence of America and why it even exists. Money laundering, right? They say that Russia is a gas station. America is money laundering and pedophilia. That's what it is, dude. That's why it's so funny when you think that people think that America can ramp up military production. America could have ramped up military production decades ago. Right?
Just want to move again to the recruiting and the Genesis program. I have here a quote that was given during the Air and Space Forces Association.
America is not in war now. Yeah, but America is not in war now. They will never be in war. They won't be in war against Russia.
Warfare symposium.
Exactly, last day.
If you do the math, you're somewhere in the ballpark of 5,600 folks that we could have likely brought on if they weren't waiting on medical approval, right? And now you have a program that digs into medical records. And so a kid who took ADHD meds because maybe his parents got divorced when he was 14 or 15 now can't get approved. Somebody who wants to serve, I think we're trying to solve one problem, and then we've created a whole disproportionate others. And I want to work with you on that. Let's fix the Genesis system and how it is affecting you. And then just in my question remaining, you are the only service that in your proposal proposed a cut in junior ROTC in high schools. Do you think that junior ROTC in high school is getting to this Gen Z, getting to a
Russia didn't have any issues with the American weapons whatsoever. Even America admits that none of the weapons that were sent were not game changers as they promised they were. But they admit that the Russian weapon is a game changer. Right? They admit that.
Really about service, leadership, discipline, followership is helpful?
All of the Western missiles can be blocked by electronic warfare. All of them.
Junior ROTC is a valuable program. I'm not aware that we made a cut. We may have for some reason. I'd have to go back and get back to
I look forward to working with you on that as well. You get a better citizen and you get a recruit.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentlewoman from Hawaii.
They're using storm shadows. They're using ATACMS. They're using HIMARS. All of which are intercepted, dude. When you say they're not used remotely at the same level, you're just saying something arbitrary that does come at you doing that thing where you're saying vague stuff that no one knows what is. But you can just explain it so people fucking know what you mean, dude. Berlin protesters were accused of using excessive force against pro-Palestine demonstrators.
German police have been
the German police and the French police have been very bad, dude.
Using excessive force while clearing a protest camp in support of Gaza outside Parliament.
They don't use excessive force against Greta Thunberg.
Around 150 police officers were involved in clearing the camp. Why the eviction? Officials say protesters repeatedly broke rules of assembly and they used the camp to incite hatred, something activists reject.
Their official reasoning for evicting this camp is that we had a sofa and that we are hurting the grass. In this country, in Germany, hurting the grass is worse than committing genocide.
Israel denies allegations of genocide in Gaza, but Germany itself is accused of breaching the UN Genocide Convention by sending arms to Israel. Protesters here want those exports to stop. They're also demanding a permanent ceasefire. Many here feel that Palestinian voices are being marginalised in Germany. After repeated calls to leave the area, police removed sit-in protesters one by one. Asked about heavy-handed policing, a spokeswoman said officers had acted within the law.
Wenn Personen der Aufforderung, sich zu entfernen, nicht Folge leisten, nicht bereit sind aufzustehen, den Aufforderungen nicht nachkommen, dann werden mehrere Kollegen...
Yeah, but you don't have to do you have to comply with what the police says if you're not doing anything illegal, dude?
Kolleginnen zugreifen und die Person hier vom Platz tragen.
As the clearing was happening, other protesters gathered across the road to show their support. In the end, police made several arrests.
It doesn't matter that they are evicting us here. Go somewhere else. We will not shut up until justice has been restored.
If Ukraine was America, do you think it would be the same war? No, I don't think so. When you say the USA weapons are useless, yes, they are useless. Because Ukraine cannot support the weapons the same way. True. So there's the only thing we're talking about there is what we already talked about with the tanks, dude. The tanks that Ukraine is using, not Russia, but Ukraine is useless because they're not backed up by an air force. So there's many weapons that could have functioned better if the army was more prepared and more established and had an air force, for instance. True, yes. But what I'm saying is that the HIMARS is easy interceptable. The Storm Shadow is easy interceptable. The ATACMS. And Russia has also found a signature to block them with electronic warfare, which means the guidance don't work. America also sent glide bombs to Ukraine. Still saying they can be blocked. That's what I said. Come on. No, tanks are not useless. Tanks are not useless. I can go through this again to debunk you, because we talked about that last time. You pretended like they were useless. I can prove it. Let's have a look here. You can't see the forest from the trees. That's regarding that video you linked with tanks are useless, right? Because someone actually looked at that video you sent. FPV drones are a discovery of new military operations. I don't argue. The problem with the American tanks, for the most part, is that they are not designed for real combat in continuous war in such weather conditions and on such soil. And the problem with your tanks is that the Ukrainians have practically lost their air force. The doctrine of fighting in small combat groups shows itself well in the movies. In reality, this stops working when the fighting takes place on the levels of divisions or armies, when the battle involves not company against company, but an infantry battalion with the support of 2 to 5 tanks against a division that has 5 infantry battalions, 3 artillery divisions, and a company of tanks with the support of a company of drone pilots and possibility of calling in aviation. As a result, we get the following picture. Russian soldiers see an Abrams tank, immobilize it with an FPV drone, and shoot it with artillery. If there's no free artillery, there would have been called for a helicopter or plane. No one knows the future wars combat, neither do you. You're saying tanks are useless now, and then you're talking about the future. So I'm talking about the current conflict, which is gonna be like it is for the next 20 years, dude. Wars always like escalate every 20, 30 years, and it has escalated right now. The introduction of drones. But combat, I just explained to you why tanks are relevant. It's not relevant. Tanks are useless for Ukraine because they have no air force. But tanks are pretty good for Russia. That's why they use them quite frequently and very successfully. And you can't argue that because we see it on the front line. Even Ukraine is using tanks. You think they are useless because you see a drone, but that's just you being dumb, dude. There's many videos of Ukraine not being able to use drones at all. No, the thing is that you think that drones is just everything, but drone kills like 100 people, maybe 50 people every month, right? Meanwhile, artillery kills like thousands, way more. And you're looking at drones because you see footage online, and then you're ignoring everything else. So you just don't realize what's happening at the front. The real happening at the front is artillery. That's the real war, dude. That's the real war. And you're just completely ignoring artillery because you see a drone. But that's not all that's happening. In fact, drones are a very small thing that's happening at the front. Right? Drones is a very small scale of casualties and incurred injuries that's done by drones. We already talked about this. I'm not sure if I have to mention it. But I would assume that less than 1% of injuries is done by drones, honestly. And the 99% is done by artillery, from tanks, for instance. Right? Hey, Casmul. So you think tanks are useless, but they're useless for Ukraine because they don't have an air force, and you have tanks working in isolation. But Russia doesn't work like that. You can just look at the footage coming out of Russia. They use tanks all the time. It works perfectly fine. So I can't. Why would you say that tanks are useless when they are actively in use? Yeah, that's fine. But if you use drones for reconnaissance, then that means you need a tank to work as mobile artillery. Right? And you keep saying that tanks are useless. That's not true. Drones are fine for doing reconnaissance. Yeah, that's great, dude. But tanks are artillery, so there's nothing. You can't argue that, dude. Can't argue that. I just explained it to you. I'm gonna send you this link. I feel like you should take the time to fucking read it because it was addressed specifically to you, and it was regarding. I'm sending it in Discord. Check Discord. Meanwhile, this is in Sweden. There's someone burning the Quran. Obviously, this is some bullshit. Obviously, this is bullshit, dude. By the way, did you see the tank with the electronic warfare on top? It was just free roaming. Drones couldn't do shit, dude. Airborne useless by manpads and long-range anti-air defense. Tanks useless by FPV. But tanks was useless when was developed cumulative shells. After the losses of all tanks, it is insane. Every noob with RPG owned the field. It's all about life, new weapon, reaction against weapon. Was that Rotterdam? I don't know. Space? We got this guy, the bishop from Australia.
I am a true blue Aussie. I am proud to be an Australian. And wherever I go, wherever I travel across the globe, when I come back here, this is home. And I said it, I am very, proud of these great Anzac warriors who gave their life up to the very
Yes, this is after.
to the very freedom of speech and freedom of religion. They died to keep and preserve the human identity and integrity. I salute my beloved Anzac warriors, and whoever walks in that path must be saluted. And this is why I stand for that freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Every human has the right to the freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Every human being, no matter who that is, everyone has the right. God bless you. I've kept you for too long, but this is my normal me again. Allah natarokhar.
Again, back to protest. Indiana State reportedly raided and dismantled the Gaza encampment. This is from yesterday. I remember this from yesterday, boys. We got George Galloway on the Middle East. He's calling out Rishi Sunak, I think.
There was not one single word in the Prime Minister's statement of condemnation of the Israeli destruction of the Iranian consulate in Damascus, which is the proximate reason for the event everyone is here in concert condemning. He was not even asked to do so by the front bench opposite. Kay Burley is the only person so far to demand that of a government minister. We have no treaty with Israel, at least not one that Parliament has been shown. And the Iranians are not likely to listen to him. When Britain occupied Iran, looted its wealth, and overthrew its one democratic socialist government in my own lifetime.
Well, Mr. Speaker, whatever may have happened a few weeks ago, it is absolutely no justification for launching more than 300 drones and missiles from one sovereign state towards Israel. It's as simple as that. And in the honourable gentleman's question, not once did he condemn that action, or indeed the actions of Hamas in the region.
All of them are fucking frauds, phonies, dude. Perhaps the reason for such a pittance about drones is only because Ukraine began to use drones instead of artillery. I remember that, dude. So Ukraine started to use a shit ton of drones, FPV drones, kamikaze drones, instead of artillery, because they had none. So there's a lot of visuals about that. That's why combat is falling for it, dude. Look at this cute video. Very cute, dude. Very fucking cute. Oh, this is Minnesota. Hamline University. They are granting amnesty to the students encampment for Gaza. They also granted the students a meeting with the president and the chair of the board of trustees to hear their demands. Okay.
In that fucking building since 1 p.m. on Friday. We are stepping out of this building now. We are ending our inside occupation of this building. As we have gotten full amnesty for everyone involved in the occupation, inside and out. We have gotten a list of demands, a list of bullet points for an agenda approved, and we will be meeting with the chair of the Board of Trustees and the president of this university this Monday.
There's not that many.
One step in the right direction. We believe it was a necessary step. We believe that without this pressure, we would have not gotten this meeting, we would have not gotten these agenda points approved, and we would have not gotten the opportunity to make sure that our students can continue to advocate for this cause, that we can continue as students of conscience to fight for what is right, and that we can continue to hold space on this campus. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into that meeting, we are going to see what they have to say, but we are going to make no assurances that we will end our presence.
And so what is this? Again, protest. Look at this. This is you, PPG. Fucking pulling this woman, dude. Kairos is angry. Someone is pulling her hair as well, dude. Kairos is just like, oh, PPG. I'm gonna defend this woman online, dude. And I'm gonna do like a bunch of defending of Jews and anti-Semitism and shit, dude. It's very painful to see the US as an Islamic extremist at this level, says the media. Look, that's Hebrew media that's saying that, dude. Look, Islamic extremism. I thought it looks like Israel lost America, dude.
Allah. استعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم.
That was super fucking cringe, dude. So, take a look at this. The people welding garage sheds to the top of the tanks to keep on the birds are trying to claim superiority over the people flying prop planes. So, remember that the cope cages is something that every country has adopted, including Ukraine and Israel and America. The people welding garage sheds to the tanks are advancing, and the people flying prop planes are losing ground every day now. As if advancing is a relevant metric. The cope is nuts, dude. Come on. PPG. PPG, this is some nuts stuff, dude. This is fucking nuts. And you are part of this, PPG.
Troy Kennedy.
This is the Kennedys. Voting for Biden, dude.
Kennedy Townsend.
Chris Kennedy. And I'm here to proudly endorse Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Our future is on the ballot in a way in which we haven't seen in generations.
Yeah, they say that every time, dude.
The only way to win this election is for everybody to go out and vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
When I think of modern politicians in our country in this century, I think Joe Biden is the RFK of his generation.
Believes in democracy, believes in human rights, believes in the freedoms.
This is a president who embodies the Kennedy legacy.
My name is Joe Kennedy.
I'm Carrie Kennedy. Troy Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy Townsend.
Chris Kennedy.
And I'm here to proudly endorse Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Our future is on the ballot in a way in which we haven't seen in generations.
Russia is freezing JP Morgan assets. Nice one. I'm moving quick, dude. This is outside Hilton Hotel in Washington. They are staging a die-in. Yeah, what you're observing, PPG, is just corruption in America. Everyone is for sale, dude. That's what you're observing.
The whole media, from the beheading, the baby stories at the beginning, how we're saying
Whatever.
All right, so, but your vice presidential pick wants to recall the Moderna vaccine. That's the one I got.
She's not going to...
Well, do you agree with that? Recall it.
I think I think those vaccines we need to have, again, true double-blind placebo-controlled trials on that. There's 25% of Americans who believe that they know somebody who was killed by a COVID vaccine.
Killed?
Killed. 25% of Americans, 52% of Americans believe that the vaccines are causing injuries, including death. 52%. If you look at the clinical trial studies, the actual studies that were done, that were released of the Pfizer vaccine.
At least this guy will stop doing the bullshit with the vaccines, which obviously deserve proper trials, dude. Why would you not have proper trials with vaccines? Vaccines without proper trials is just going to end up killing a bunch of people, dude. Just like it always have. And obviously, funding Ukraine is also bad for America and the American people and bad for the world. So at least he's better than Biden in that part, dude.
Vaccine. Moderna has not released it.
Remember the EUA that the vaccines got were fraudulent. They changed the method of production, right?
If you look at the Pfizer vaccine, there were 22,000 people in the placebo group, 22,000 people who got the actual vaccine, and the people who got the vaccine had a 23% higher death rate from all causes.
Oh, shit, dude.
At the end of that study.
But that could not be the disease itself?
No.
Not if you have data to match it, dude. The data is the difference.
Well,
because we know that
if it is, then the vaccine doesn't work, does it?
Well, it's early.
There's Pfizer studies that implies that the efficacy of Pfizer is 1%. Meanwhile, the Chinese is 70%. Tactical retreat in the east. So the front line. Yeah, Blinken.
We have seen, generally speaking, evidence of attempts to influence and arguably interfere, and we want to make sure that...
How can we see, how did they interfere, dude? Can you describe what they did?
That's cut off as quickly as possible.
Yeah, but what did they do? How did they interfere, dude? University of Indiana's admin staff is scoring snipers to the roof in response to student protest. Oh shit, dude. I thought Casey and Maita was saying that didn't happen. And now that's all me, dude.